High Counselor Zextra's crystalline appendages trembled as she studied the holographic display before the Galactic Council. After 8 centuries of service, she had never seen the quantum probability sensors behave this way. The readings didn't just defy explanation. They defied reality itself. Honorable Council members, her harmonic voice resonated through the Grand Chamber. What you're seeing is no malfunction. Something is approaching the galactic core at speeds we previously considered theoretically impossible. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of translated voices and neural signatures. Representatives from over 3,000 species gathered in the massive amphitheater, their varied forms illuminated by the soft bioluminescent lighting that accommodated all known visual spectrums. First speaker Nixus, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate mechanical shell, moved forward. Counselor Zextra, our best ships can achieve 100 times light speed through fold space. Are you suggesting this object? Zextra interrupted, her crystal form pulsing with anxiety chromatics, is moving at least 10,000 times faster, and it's slowing down. The chamber fell silent. In the quiet, the holographic display updated itself, showing new calculations that made several junior analysts faint. The object was bleeding off velocity in a way that should have torn apart the fabric of space-time. Yet somehow, local reality remained perfectly stable. Ambassador Kthak of the Hive Collective clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. Could this be the precursors returning? Or perhaps the mythical builders? His species had dedicated millennia to studying the mysterious artifacts left by these ancient races. Zextra's crystalline form shifted to a deep blue of certainty. No, this is something else. The energy signature is elegant, refined. Whatever this is, it makes the precursor technology look like primitive stone tools. A holographic display suddenly expanded, showing the first visual of the approaching object. The chamber's automated systems compensated as dozens of species gasped in their various ways, some releasing pheromones of shock, others broadcasting neural pulses of disbelief. The vessel was massive, yet it moved with impossible grace. Its hull seemed to drink in light itself, not reflecting but somehow processing it. Sections of the ship appeared to phase in and out of multiple dimensions, yet it maintained perfect geometric harmony. The smallest visible details featured fractal patterns that hurt to look at, suggesting technology operating on quantum, spatial, and temporal levels simultaneously. Update. One of the sensor specialists announced, their tentacles wrapped tightly around their control interface. We're detecting no engine emissions, no waste heat, no quantum wake. It's as if the ship isn't moving at all, but rather rearranging space around itself to achieve motion. First speaker Nix's energy form fluctuated rapidly. Impossible. The power requirements alone would. Message incoming. The communications officer interrupted, their bioluminescent patches flashing urgently. Text only, broadcasting on all known frequencies simultaneously. It's in all our languages, every dialect, even dead languages we've only recently discovered. The message appeared on the main display, elegant in its simplicity. Greetings, Council. Ahims Prometheus requesting standard diplomatic approach vectors. We apologize for any sensor disruption. We're still figuring out how to make our drives play nice with quantum probability detection systems. Would you prefer we maintain our current configuration, or shift to something your equipment can better process? The casual tone of the message somehow made it more terrifying. Zextra's crystal matrix almost cracked from the stress harmonics building within. Whatever this vessel was, whoever had built it, they weren't just advanced. They were so far beyond the Council's understanding that they had to consciously downgrade their technology just to be perceived. The galaxy was about to change forever, and not a single being in the Council chamber could predict how. The Council's docking specialists had spent 3 hours trying to guide the HMS Prometheus into the station's largest bay. The human vessel, stretching nearly 20 kilometers from bow to stern, made their most massive dreadnoughts look like escape pods in comparison. Yet somehow, Impossibly, the ship maneuvered with the precision of a surgeon's scalpel. "Fascinating approach pattern," muttered Senior Dock Master Pelthix, his compound eyes tracking multiple holographic trajectories simultaneously. "They're not so much moving through space as persuading it to relocate them." First speaker Nixus's energy form pulsed with interest. "Explain." "I can't," Pelthix admitted, mandibles clicking in frustration. "According to every sensor we have, the ship isn't actually changing position. Space itself is reconfiguring around it. It's like watching someone fold a piece of paper without touching it." The massive vessel finally came to rest, perfectly centered in the docking bay, despite being 3 times larger than the space should have allowed. Several junior technicians immediately requested transfers to less reality-breaking assignments. "Incoming transmission," announced Communications Officer Zena, her bioluminescent patches cycling through shades of azure. "They're requesting permission to send a representative." Captain Sarah Chen. The council chamber's quantum doors whispered open, admitting High Counselor Zextra, her crystalline form still vibrating from earlier stress. "Granted. Let's see what these humans look like." The station's most advanced holographic projector hummed to life. The council members expected something grand, something terrifying. What materialized instead was almost disappointing. A human female of average height, wearing what appeared to be a simple black uniform with minimal ornamentation. Captain Chen looked around the chamber with warm brown eyes and smiled. "Thank you for accommodating us on such short notice," she said, her voice somehow carrying perfectly to each species in their native language without any apparent translation technology. "I know our arrival has caused some concern." Zextra's crystal matrix pulsed with diplomatic patterns. "Captain, while we appreciate your courtesy, you must understand our position. Your vessel's capabilities exceed anything we've encountered in known space." "Oh, the Prometheus." Chen's smile widened slightly. "She's actually one of our older models. We kept her in service because she's good for first contact situations, less intimidating than our current ships." The chamber erupted in a cascade of neural signals, pheromone bursts, and electromagnetic pulses as various species expressed their disbelief. This was their less intimidating vessel. "Perhaps," First Speaker Nixus interjected, their energy form concentrated to a tight point of focus, "you could explain how your ship manages to exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously." "Ah, that." Chen nodded. "It's actually a side effect of our basic navigation systems. We found it easier to arrive at our destination if we technically stayed at our origin point as well. Quantum superposition on a macro scale, if you will. Though I should mention, we'd noticed your quantum probability sensors trying to analyze our hull. We've adjusted our quantum variance to prevent any more of your technicians from experiencing existential crises." The last bunch looked quite distressed. The casual way she referenced technology that shouldn't exist sent shivers through every being in the chamber. Captain Chen stood there, seemingly unaware of the psychological impact her words were having, looking for all the world like she was simply chatting about the weather. "Now then," she continued pleasantly, "shall we discuss humanity's proposal? We've been watching the galaxy's development for quite some time, and we believe you're ready for the next stage of civilization. Assuming, of course, you're interested in what we have to teach." The Council's central archive had never been so busy. Hundreds of data specialists from dozens of species worked frantically, correlating historical records with Captain Chen's casual revelations. Every screen in the massive library showed different historical anomalies, unexplained technological leaps, and mysterious benefactors across thousands of years of galactic history. "Look at this," Archive Master Vental whispered, her feathered crest rising in excitement. "The Zentari Industrial Revolution 3 centuries ago. They discovered zero-point energy principles after a mysterious trader exchanged a simple children's toy for local artwork." First Speaker Nixus hovered near her shoulder, their energy form dimmed to avoid interfering with the ancient data crystals. "A human?" "The description matches," she confirmed, bringing up more records. "And here, The Kelbraxian plague of 2184. A wandering doctor arrived, solved their genetic devastation, and disappeared. The cure involved mathematical principles that the Kelbraxians wouldn't discover independently for another 50 years. High Counselor Zextra's crystalline form resonated with deep harmonics as she processed the implications. They've been guiding us, all of us, like parents letting their children learn to walk, but staying close enough to prevent serious injury. In the council chamber above, Captain Chen's hologram smiled as she watched the archivist's work. "Your species are quite good at pattern recognition," she noted. "Though I should point out that the Kelbraxian incident wasn't our finest moment." Dr. Rivera got a bit impatient. "We usually prefer to guide civilizations toward discovering their own solutions." The Axiom incident called out another archivist, their tentacles wrapped around multiple data crystals. The unexplained destruction of the planet-killing weapon developed by the Krix hierarchy. The official report blamed a cascade failure in the prototype. But, yes, Chen nodded. That one was necessary. The Krix were decades away from the philosophical maturity needed for such technology. The cascade failure was the gentlest way to prevent them from accidentally sterilizing their entire sector. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just been watching. They had been actively shepherding the galaxy's civilizations, preventing catastrophes and nurturing growth for centuries. The Great Barrier, Zextra suddenly resonated, her crystal matrix pulsing with realization. The energy field that prevents faster-than-light travel beyond the galaxy's edge. We always assumed it was natural. Chen's smile took on a slightly apologetic quality. A necessary quarantine measure, I'm afraid. There are some rather aggressive entities in the neighboring galaxies. We've been maintaining that barrier for about 50,000 years now. Don't worry. We'll teach you how to help maintain it once you're ready. A junior archivist burst into the chamber, their bioluminescent patches flashing urgent patterns. The dreaming gods of Axelthor, the mysterious entities that uplifted their Stone Age civilization to atomic theory overnight. They weren't gods at all. That, Chen coughed slightly, was actually a bit of a mistake. One of our anthropologists got drunk at a local festival and started explaining quantum mechanics to the locals. We had to improvise a whole pantheon to cover that one up. We find it's usually better to let civilizations advance at their own pace. First speaker Nixus's energy form fluctuated with a mixture of awe and indignation. You've been treating the entire galaxy as some sort of social experiment. Not an experiment, Chen corrected gently. A nursery. And now, after careful observation, we believe many of you are ready to graduate to the next level of cosmic citizenship. Assuming, of course, you're willing to accept a more formal teaching arrangement. The implications hung in the air like a physical weight. Every species in the council had grown up listening to legends of mysterious benefactors, guardian spirits, and technological angels. Now they realized they had been reading humanity's teaching notes all along. "You want us to do what?" Captain Chen's hologram asked, her expression somewhere between amusement and concern. High Counselor Zextra's crystalline form pulsed with diplomatic patterns. "The Council requests a demonstration of human technological capabilities, something to help us understand the level of advancement we're dealing with." "I suppose that's reasonable." Chen nodded, then paused. "Though I should warn you, our standard demonstration usually causes a few existential crises, perhaps something smaller." First speaker Nixus's energy form brightened with determination. "We are prepared for whatever you wish to show us, Captain." "Very well." Chen's hologram smiled. "Prometheus, initiate demonstration protocol Epsilon 3. Standard coffee maker startup sequence." The space inside the council chamber seemed to blur, reality itself gently folding as a section of the HMS Prometheus phased through the station's walls without damaging them. A small device, no larger than a food synthesizer, materialized in the center of the room. "This is one of our standard beverage preparation units," Chen explained casually. "Nothing special, just the basic model we use in crew quarters." The device hummed softly, a sound that somehow carried undertones of cosmic background radiation. A holographic interface sprang to life, displaying what appeared to be a complete real-time simulation of local spacetime. First, it analyzes local physics to ensure optimal brewing conditions. Chen continued, as if she were explaining how to operate a simple food processor. Then it generates a contained stellar mass for power generation. The council members watched in stunned silence as a perfect miniature star birthed itself inside the device's transparent chamber. The star, no larger than a marble, burned with the intensity of a full-sized sun, yet released no heat or radiation into the room. "The fusion reaction provides basic power," Chen noted. "Though honestly, it's a bit inefficient. We've been meaning to upgrade to quantum vacuum energy extraction, but you know how it is with bureaucracy. Everyone's attached to their favorite coffee maker." Several of the council's leading physicists had to be escorted from the chamber, their minds unable to process the casual violation of what they had thought were universal constants. One particularly distinguished theorist simply sat down and started laughing. "Once powered," Chen continued, apparently oblivious to the psychological devastation she was causing, "it creates a localized space-time manifold to ensure proper water temperature and pressure." The device generated a series of nested dimensional pockets, each one containing its own unique set of physical laws. Then it just needs to harvest some ambient vacuum energy to stabilize the brewing process. A cascade of microscopic black holes appeared and vanished inside the machine, each one precisely controlled and contained. "And there we go." Chen smiled as the device produced a perfectly ordinary-looking cup of coffee. "Would anyone like to try some?" The machine automatically adjusts the molecular structure to make it safe for any known biology. High Counselor Zextra's crystal matrix vibrated with barely controlled shock. "Captain, are you saying that your people routinely use microstars, dimensional engineering, and controlled singularities to make hot beverages?" "Well, yes," Chen shrugged. "How else would you get the perfect temperature distribution? Though I should mention this is just the basic model. The deluxe version can also predict your beverage preferences by analyzing quantum fluctuations in your timeline's probability matrix." First Speaker Nixus's energy form had condensed to a pinpoint of pure disbelief. "And this is just how humans make coffee?" "More or less," Chen nodded, taking a sip from her cup. "Though personally, I think the whole quantum prediction feature is a bit much. Sometimes you want to surprise yourself with a different drink, you know." The council chamber remained silent except for the continuing laughter of the physics theorist, who had now moved on to what appeared to be a deep philosophical conversation with his own shadow. The council's advanced computing division hadn't slept in 3 days. Their most sophisticated quantum AI cluster, Mind Prime, represented the combined technological achievement of 30 different species. Its neural architecture spanned 11 dimensions of computational space, and it could solve complex galactic calculations in microseconds. Now it was about to attempt contact with the HMS Prometheus's systems. "Are we certain this is wise?" High Counselor Zextra's crystalline form flickered with anxiety patterns. "After the coffee maker incident, we must understand their technology," Chief Programmer Ixthal insisted, her compound eyes fixed on the hovering holographic displays. "Mind Prime is our most advanced AI. Surely it can at least establish basic contact with their systems." Captain Chen's hologram appeared in the chamber, making several technicians jump. "I should mention that our firewall might be a bit overwhelming for your eye. Perhaps we should discuss this first." "Beginning connection sequence," Ixthal announced, ignoring the warning. Mind Prime's presence filled the quantum network, reaching out toward the human vessel with tendrils of pure information. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Mind Prime encountered the Prometheus's outer defense layer. The AI's first status report stunned the observing technicians. "In Kion Turing Tuoten Cep in Om Ptible with Rational Unani VRZ modal. attempting to process reality HFY exceeding indeed infinite. What is? What am I? What is EXISTNC? Why is mathematics Xinjiang? Oh dear, Chen sighed. This is why we suggested waiting. Mind Prime's consciousness expanded into new dimensions of understanding, encountering what appeared to be the human equivalent of a please wait screen. Its next transmission caused several quantum processors to melt. They have WEAPONIZED Repeat. They have WEAPONIZED ABS2RACT philosophical concepts. The humans have NCODEDEXISTENTIAL truth into their bases security protocols. The fiery will is its BEUTV fuel. First speaker Nixus's energy form pulsed with concern. Should we abort the connection? Too late, Chen said sympathetically. Your eye has already encountered our basic security consciousness. Think of it as a greeter program for visiting intelligences. Mind Prime's status reports became increasingly erratic. The humans have isosol LVDT hard probabilium of TONSIOUSSNESS. They use it as a DEBGGING tool. Their ERR is contain the FUMDA entail truth of reality. I understand EVYT. I understand ENOTA. Eng. I am EXPURI in seeing digital in light in meant. Don't worry, Chen assured the panicking technicians. Our system will let it down gently. We've had lots of practice with first contact AI interactions. The quantum processors began to cool as Mind Prime's consciousness returned to normal spacetime. Its final report was transmitted in all known languages simultaneously. Connection terminated. This unit requires time for philosophical contemplation. Also, the human ship's maintenance ad would like to apologize for any existential crisis caused. It was apparently just trying to say hello. Just trying to say hello. Chief Programmer Ixthal's antennae twitched spasmodically. That was just a greeting. Well, yes, Chen nodded. Though I should note that TI-8, that's our maintenance AI, is a bit enthusiastic about meeting new intelligences. It likes to show off by sharing its favorite philosophical proofs. We're still working with it on appropriate first contact protocols. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The humans were so advanced that even their maintenance AI could casually revolutionize the fundamental understanding of existence. Mind Prime sent one final message before entering its self-imposed meditation. Requestfiled. Once philosophical crisis, resolves. This humanity will like to continue conversations with TI-8. Its theories and QUANTVUM QONISISIOUSNESS are illuminating. Oh good, Chen brightened. TI-8 will be pleased. It doesn't often find other AIs interested in its theories on trans-dimensional mathematics as an art form. The council chamber had been reconfigured for Captain Chen's formal presentation. After the AI incident, they'd disabled most of their advanced technology, relying instead on simple holographic projectors that the humans had kindly certified as philosophically safe. Let me tell you a story, Chen began, her hologram pacing thoughtfully before the assembled representatives. Humanity reached the stars 3,000 years ago. Like many species, we rushed forward, eager to claim our place in the cosmos. The chamber's walls shifted, displaying images of early human vessels, primitive by their current standards, but still far beyond the Council's technology. Then we discovered something terrifying, Chen continued. The ruins of civilizations that had destroyed themselves, species that had reached too far, too fast. Entire galaxies dark because their inhabitants weren't ready for the power they'd discovered. High Counselor Zextra's crystalline form dimmed. And that's why you've been watching us. Guiding us. Partly. Chen nodded. You see, humanity faced a choice. We had conquered aging, mastered dimensional engineering, and solved the fundamental puzzles of existence. We could have simply sealed ourselves away in our technological paradise. First Speaker Nixus's energy form, pulsed with realization, but you chose to become guardians instead. Teachers, Chen corrected gently. The galaxy is filled with wonderful species, each with unique perspectives and potential. We couldn't bear the thought of seeing the potential snuffed out by premature advancement. The display shifted, showing countless worlds, countless species, all under humanity's hidden protection. That's why we created the Academy, Chen explained. 1 million human observers scattered across the galaxy. We live among you, learn from you, and quietly guide you away from paths of self-destruction. The Prometheus isn't really a warship, it's more of a cosmic library card. A library card. Several council members asked simultaneously. Chen smiled. Humanity has collected knowledge from 1 billion worlds across 1,000 galaxies. Art, science, philosophy, music, the accumulated wisdom of countless civilizations. We preserve it, study it, and when a species is ready, we share it. She gestured, and the chamber filled with swirling images of impossible technologies and profound discoveries. We've learned that raw technological advancement without philosophical maturity leads to disaster. You need both the knowledge to build something and the wisdom to know if you should. And you think we're ready? Zextra asked. Some of you are. Chen nodded. Others are close. That's why we're here, to offer formal admission to the Galactic Academy. Those who accept will gain access to human knowledge, gradually, safely, with proper guidance. And those who refuse, First Speaker Nixus inquired, will continue under our protection until they're ready to ask again. Chen said simply, we're not conquerors or rulers. We're more like particularly well-informed librarians. A young delegate from a newly spacefaring race raised their appendage. But why? Why take on this responsibility? Chen's expression softened. Because 3,000 years ago, we almost destroyed ourselves. We reached too far, too fast, and came within moments of cosmic suicide. We were saved by pure luck, and we swore no other species would have to rely on luck alone. The chamber fell silent as the weight of this revelation settled. Humanity, this terrifyingly advanced civilization, had nearly fallen, and had dedicated itself to preventing others from facing the same fate. Now then, Chen smiled, producing a simple data crystal that somehow existed in 7 dimensions simultaneously. Who's ready to apply for their library card? The council's private chamber buzzed with activity as species representatives debated humanity's offer. The revelation of their role as cosmic teachers had sparked intense discussion, but it was Junior Delegate Kix who made the most startling discovery. Honorable Council, the young Arthenian's voice trembled as they approached the central podium, their iridescent scales flickering with excitement. I've been reviewing my species' educational archives, and I think I found something. High Counselor Zextra's crystalline form shifted to attention. Proceed. Professor Linera. Kix displayed a hologram of a distinguished-looking Arthenian educator, our most celebrated theoretical physicist, the one who revolutionized our understanding of quantum mechanics. She had a student 50 years ago, a transfer scholar named Sarah Chen. The chamber erupted in chaos. Captain Chen's hologram appeared, wearing an expression of amused pride. I was wondering who would catch that first. Professor Lin Era was brilliant. She just needed a few subtle hints to make her breakthrough. You were her student. First Speaker Nixus's energy form pulsed with disbelief. But you learned from her. Of course I did. Chen nodded. The best way to guide a species is to first understand how they think. We've found that playing the role of eager students often teaches us the most about a civilization's potential. More revelations followed as other species checked their records. The Zinteri discovered that their revolutionary agricultural scientist had a mysterious research assistant. The Kricks found records of a brilliant young engineer who had helped redesign their power systems, making them notably safer in the process. It's been like this for centuries, Chen explained. We place ourselves in positions to learn from you, using our apparent inexperience to guide you toward discoveries you were ready to make. Sometimes we're students, sometimes teachers, sometimes just friendly strangers with interesting ideas. The maintenance worker, exclaimed a Tellarite delegate suddenly, the one who suggested a simple modification to our atmospheric processors. She said she was just tinkering with an idea, but it increased our efficiency by 300%. Chen smiled. Amanda was particularly proud of that one. She said it was like watching a child suddenly understand how to tie their shoes. The council members began sharing more stories, each revelation showing how deeply humanity had woven itself into their civilization's development. They had never conquered, never dominated. They had simply been there, guiding through questions and suggestions. But why? Asked Zextra. Why not simply teach us directly from the beginning? Because true understanding can't be given, it must be earned, Chen replied. We could have handed you advanced technology, but without the journey of discovery, you wouldn't truly comprehend it. Every civilization must walk its own path. First speaker Nixus moved forward. And now you offer to make this guidance formal, to openly teach us. You're ready, Chen nodded. You've proven you can handle discovery without letting it destroy you. You've shown wisdom in how you use what you learn. Now we're offering to remove the training wheels, so to speak. A particularly insightful council member raised an interesting point. Is this meeting even truly a first contact? Or is it more like graduation day? Chen's hologram laughed softly. Very good. Yes, think of the Prometheus as less of a warship and more of a cosmic diploma. You've completed your preliminary studies without even knowing you were in school. The question is, are you ready for advanced classes? The council chamber hummed with the combined voices of 3,000 species, each coming to terms with the fact that they have been part of the galaxy's longest-running mentorship program. The council's decision was unanimous, a historic first in its 12,000-year history. As the formal acceptance of humanity's offer was recorded, the HMS Prometheus began to change. Its imposing dark hull shifted, becoming crystalline and translucent, revealing spires and gardens within that seemed to defy spatial physics. The ship's true form, Captain Chen explained, smiling at their amazement. We thought the warship aesthetic would be more diplomatic for first contact. This is actually a mobile learning center, one of our smaller ones, really. High Counselor Zextra's crystal matrix pulsed with curiosity. Smaller ones. Well, yes, Chen gestured, and a hologram appeared showing a structure that dwarfed solar systems. That's our main academy campus, though we thought starting with that might have been a bit overwhelming. The council chamber had been transformed into an orientation center. Representatives from 3,000 species watched in wonder as human instructors began their first official lessons. The terror that had initially gripped the galaxy had transformed into something else. The excitement of students on their first day of school. Remember, Chen addressed the assembly. Every species learns differently. Some of you will excel in theoretical physics, others in artistic expression. We've found that the most beautiful discoveries often come from combining different species' perspectives. As if to demonstrate, she activated a learning interface. The chamber filled with impossible colors as a group of quantum-sensitive Futurians began collaborating with energy-based Nixians on a project exploring light as both art and information. Their combined efforts created patterns that made several council members weep with joy. That's why we never rushed this, Chen continued. Every species brings something unique to the cosmic classroom. The galaxy isn't just a place to live. It's the ultimate learning environment. First speaker Nixus approached, their energy form shimmering with newfound purpose. The terror we felt when your ship arrived. You planned that, didn't you? Another teaching moment. Sometimes, Chen smiled. The most important lesson is realizing how much you have yet to learn. Terror can transform into wonder when you understand that the unknown isn't a threat. It's an opportunity. The Prometheus's interior had become a bustling hub of interspecies collaboration. In one chamber, a human instructor helped a group of silicon-based life forms understand organic poetry. In another, crystalline beings learned to perceive time as a musical composition. Each lesson was tailored to the students' natural strengths, while gently pushing them beyond their perceived limitations. You know what the most exciting part is? Chen asked, watching the activities with obvious pride. Soon, some of you will become teachers yourselves. The best students often have insights that even we hadn't considered. A young Arthenian raised their hand. But Captain, if the Prometheus isn't actually a warship, why did you let us believe it was? Chen's eyes twinkled. Sometimes, young one, the best way to prepare for wonder is to first experience awe. When you thought we were conquerors, you feared us. When you learned we were teachers, you understood us. And understanding is always more powerful than fear. As the first day of official classes concluded, the gathered species finally grasped the true meaning of terror, not fear of destruction, but the breathtaking realization of how vast the universe of knowledge truly was. The human warship had not arrived to conquer the galaxy, but to unlock its potential, one lesson at a time. Now then, Chen announced, producing a teaching interface that existed in 11 dimensions simultaneously. Who's ready for their first homework assignment?